people that follow me actually pay attention to the silly shit that I put up. But yeah, man, that was just a thought that I had in a fleeting moment. So yeah, man, if it conveys a message to somebody, then that makes me even more happy. So
what a lot of people don't know about us. Some of our good friends know this. Certainly, everybody in the crew knows this. What's up, no cover?
NCC.
But Sean and I try to lead lives to where we stay positive. We push the positive. We try to keep the negative out of most conversations and just try to push the positive on everything, because this world is filled with so much negativity and so much bullshit.
Just look at your social media. I mean, there's a lot of people that are putting a lot of negative.
And even though our podcast can become somewhat quasi-political, it's still to leave some positivity. In other words, if you got a laugh out of it, if the levity of it made your day just a little bit better, then we've done our job.
Oh yeah, I mean I'd much rather people. I mean, even if you want to disagree with this, but you find something that makes you giggle or laugh before the end of an episode. I mean, then yeah, we definitely use the message that I wanted to.
And honestly, we don't get a lot of disagreement. There's a lot of people that disagree with this, but we don't get a lot of pushback, especially from many of our fans or anything, because Shiner and I, when we talk about something, we come at it from a very educated point of view. In other words, we're not going to talk about shit unless we got resources to back. And I think people know that. So there's a lot of people that don't want to really get in a squabble about certain, especially with Shiner, because he'll quote you sources. He'll quote you where he got this from and the research that he did on it. So none of this goes shooting from the hip. There's for a typical show, there's been a lot of research done on the topics that we talk about long before we talk about them.
Well, that's the thing, that when we started doing this, especially when you and I started this show, I was amazed at just how much time it takes to actually do that, to research things. And God bless Donnie, man. Donnie picks up the slack when I don't have time, or when you're tied up with the work or something. And sometimes we can throw stuff at Donnie, and Donnie will find the time to at least get us a platform we can start with.
Yeah, but, it's not like he works an office job where he's got access to a computer and can do this. I mean, he works on airplanes for a living. So, a lot of this stuff is done after his normal day is over as well. So
that's a pretty good point to put out there. Like we don't just start recording an episode and just talk aimlessly. Like, yeah, there's a lot of time. There's a lot of reasons we talk about. And I don't think we always present it that way. I mean, you probably think that we're just mouthing to mouth. But yeah, I mean, we definitely spend researching things, and like you get back to the, promoting a positive message. I know, we touch on some very polarizing subjects, but in the end all, man, I hope I hope everybody takes this podcast that you got to put positive messages out there, man. You got to put positive energy out in the world. Get positive.
Well, you start every day with a quote.
Yeah. If you don't follow me on Instagram and you want to, my screen name at Instagram is @Hellraiser46. It's HELLRAZR. If you follow me Monday through Friday, the first post that I throw up will be some photograph that I've had some idea about taking, usually the previous day. And I throw up some kind of quote that I run across that catches my attention and kind of stands out to me. And, I told somebody one time that, those quotes that I put up are just as much, if not more so, for myself as they are anybody else. I've just been fortunate that I've been able to touch a nerve with people I've posted, and it's resounded with them. And once I started knowing that I was doing that, I just realized that I needed to keep doing it, because I've got some pretty powerful DMs from the stories of things they were going through in their life. And they read something that I posted, and it either changed their view or gave them strength to keep fighting whatever battle it is they're fighting. So, I mean, I'm glad to know I say things, I quote things that get through to people like that, man. So, I mean, try to use that social media for good instead of evil.
Well, and some of that, there's a little difference between me and you when it comes to that, because you're more poignant when it comes to your quotes, as far as start positivity. And of course, I'll be like, oh, you want to hear a quote? There's 2 rules of business: mind your own and stay out of mine.
Which is a pretty, poignant quote if you really think about it. That's some good life advice right there.
Yeah, but it's not life lessons. It's check your shit.
Yeah.
Mind your own and stay out of mine. Two kinds of business.
And I don't know. I try to, like, with my Instagram, especially, I try to promote doing things for the greater good and maybe forward and stuff like that. And I mean, that's something I try to teach my kids when they were young. And well, hell, I believe in it so much it's tattooed across my knuckles. So, yeah, I mean, I really do, man. I try to, as much shenanigans that I get myself into, I try to use social media to give positivity in their life.
All right. So while we're on the positivity thing, tell me about the tattoo that you have on your knuckles.
Yeah, when I decided to get my knuckles, the original plan was to have Stay Gold tattooed. I was in Colorado at the time, and one of my friends, she actually stole that idea from me. So I was kind of beside myself. I knew I still wanted to get my knuckles done, and I wanted to. And my daughter was about 3 years old. I had always taught her to do things for the greater good, and she had kind of was at an age she kind of got a hold of that concept and was kind of starting to understand it. I was talking to my tattoo artist about my knuckles, and she said, "Well, hey, Daddy, have for the greater good put across your hand." I said, "Well, I don't have enough fingers to do that, hon." And the guy that did my tattoos up there, he's like, "No, I can make an acronym. We can do it." So that's how I ended up with Live 4T. So, and if nothing else, it's been a great conversation starter. I've been a ton of places, and people ask me what that meant, and when I kind of explain the concept behind it, everybody's like, "That's pretty incredible." And in fact, I used to have my own T-shirt line, and I had a T-shirt that I sold that was a couple of fists that had that across, and a lot of people bought into it. Man, I mean, getting behind that when unfortunately, I moved away from Tulsa for a while, and yeah, man, it's kind of a reminder to myself when I see it. If I ever have the opportunity when I'm out and about to help somebody else in any way that I have to do so, then I take the time to pass on something good, and hopefully they'll take it and they'll put it to somebody else. And it's just kind of like my little effort to make the world a little bit better.
Well, and you do things every once in a while, like you'll be at a cafe eating and see a couple of police officers in there eating lunch on their lunch break or whatever, and you'll just pay for the bill and walk out.
Yeah, I have been known to do that. It's been a while since I had that kind of known to do that in the past. So, and I usually tell the waitress, I ask them not to inform them on who did it, looking for a pat on the back for it. I'm just doing it to try to be a nice person. I mean, my family was, my entire family was involved in law in some way, and those guys aren't getting rich. So, I mean,
hell no.
Stuff like that. Yeah, that's stuff like that. It means something, helps them out a little bit. Even if it's $20, $20 they can send their kids.
Right. No, and then, it's cool that people do that because you see it every once in a while, human beings actually being human beings, in the Walmart drive-through in the morning. I can't tell you how many times I've gone through the drive-through in my van getting, my order of breakfast burrito and coffee, and I'll get up to the window and they'll be like, "Well, you don't have to pay anything. The car in front of you paid for it."
Yeah.
Oh, man, yeah. That's cool. But then I'm like, well, shit. Oh, I guess I got to pay for the people behind me now. So, I'll leave them a 5 or 10 or something like that and do it myself. But sometimes it takes somebody to kick me to make me feel obligated to do it. Because a lot of times I don't think about it. You kind of come with it written in stone on your hand, so to speak, to live for the greater good. And sometimes I have to be reminded to live for the greater good.
It's been a long time since I've done it, but I know. God, it's probably been over a year, but at one time, picture those tattoos and explain the concept behind it. And then I in the caption for the photo, I asked people like, "Hey, comment and tell me something that you've done for the, and man, some of the stories I got were just amazing. And I mean, people that I never would have thought performed the most selfless act to help somebody out. And it gave me a really weird, a little glimpse into the people they are outside of Instagram. And I had I gained a lot of respect for a lot of those people. I like to know that I'm not the only one doing it. It's nice to see other people, especially now with all, with as divided as the country is, man. In fact, I should run that post again and do that soon. So I have a little bit more in humanity.
Well, did you hear, I know this is not saying a whole lot considering the guy has a lot of money, but even President Trump, he's got his Trump Tower there in New York City, and there's apartments apparently in there as well.
Yeah.
And he'd come across a homeless lady, and he offered her an apartment.
Oh, really?
And just to, you pay whatever you can pay. And to my knowledge, I think she still lives in the building.
Oh, now see, that's a great story, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you sure as hell aren't seeing that in the news. I mean,
No, and the crap part is, unfortunately, it's you can't help everybody either. So,
right? Yeah.
somebody's going to twist that and be like, why, why did you just help the one?
Well, and that's I hate. So yeah, I don't know, man. You got me thinking. Like I need to come up with a new photo. Maybe we can post it. Maybe I can get you to post it on your social media platforms, and we can get some good stories that we can discuss on a future episode of the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Well, I'm thinking we need to call this an episode. End it on a very, very, very positive note. And normally I'm going to sign off by saying "see you later, love you, bye." But I'm going to sign off a little differently today. My name's Big Tiddy, and tomorrow go do something nice for somebody.
And you guys already know what I'm going to tell you to do. Get out there and kick the day in the ass and leave your mark on the world. Shiner out.
This podcast sucks.